And Kelly Barber is with me this morning. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning to you, Chris. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you, sir. Why do you want to enter this race? Some would call a thankless task, being a Christchurch City Councillor.
Yeah, maybe it is a bit of a thankless task, but it's something that has to be done. I went along and ran for community board and council in the last election, got elected to community board, came last in the council election. But, Phil Major and James Daniels asked me to be chair, and the others voted to go that way as well. So, look, it's been a steep learning curve, but it's a real privilege to actually work for people in an area that you love. And I thought James Daniels did an absolutely fantastic job. He was about building friends in town, because let's face it, that's where the decisions are made. And I thought he did a really good job of doing that, and I want to keep that going. We've still got a lot of projects that need to be finished off: the Pages Road Bridge and approaches, the South Shore Estuary Edge, and I want to be at the heart of that. I love a challenge. I've done a lot of coast to coasts and things like that. I've written a couple of books. I developed properties, raised 3 kids. Challenges are what I thrive on, and it's a tough part of town, and it deserves the best representation you can get. So I'm throwing my hat in the ring, and just to say, I actually think all the candidates are great, and it's really good to have a lot of interest in our area and pushing its needs forward.
And it's a good question, or a good subject matter to go on to, because there are a lot of people in Christchurch who always seem to have vested interests no matter what that coastal ward does. We all want to know or talk about the successes, if there are some, on the east. Why do you think that is? Why do you think many parts of Christchurch have such a good focus on that coastal ward?
It's an important part of town. We've got distinct zones in our city. We've got, the hills, we've got the city itself, the inner city, we've got places like Sumner. These are readily identifiable places, like the beach. And people flocked to New Brighton in particular for a long time in the sort of 70s, and then it sort of went into decline as the world sort of changed, and everybody could have Saturday and Sunday trading. But New Brighton has some really unique things about it. It's got a beach, it's got the pier, it's got the best view in the entire world. And now has a fantastic hot pools. It's got an outdoor mall, which is probably a bit outdated, and things need to change there. But the council's been investing a lot of money. They've done the playground, they've done the street scoping, they spent money on the clock tower. They put in investment, and it's starting to actually pay off. And, you've got to pay homage to the people who came before. I know one of them is standing. They put in a lot of effort. But it's time to kind of make that leap into the future, I think, and I want to be there and be part of it. Whatever capacity the voters decide is the burning question.
Kelly, interesting point you make there with the New Brighton Mall. Let's face it, it's not great, and there have been some wonderful ideas to try and revitalise New Brighton. For argument's sake, the slow road, the pier, the library, the playground, the hot pools. How confident are you that investors will say, okay, well, let's give this area a go? Because that's the concern, isn't it? No matter what the council tries to do, it still doesn't look that great, to be fair.
Yeah, well, Chris, it's not about the council. At the end of the day, the council can set things up, but it's private enterprise that has to convert it. As the mayor has said a number of times, it's great that we've done all this stuff on the foreshore. We've got to get people across the road. How do we do that? There are things going on all the time. It's the commercial activity that's going to make a difference. Businesses gather where people gather, because there's money to be made. Now, you only need to be down there in New Brighton on a Saturday morning and see the market and see all the people that come there. You only need to see that the pools have been a runaway success. There are people down there all the time. I think one of the statistics that Merrin, who is the manager of the pool, told me was that the GST receipts for New Brighton, for the New Brighton area, have gone up something like 3 to 4% since the pool's open. That's bringing people there. And there are other ways to bring people there. at Matariki, an amazing, amazing night. There were thousands and thousands of people there. I actually got an invite to the pools and brought some friends down from Wellington and was lucky enough to get them in as well. And they just loved every aspect of it, the fireworks and just there was so much commercial activity going on. That's the thing that's going to change Brighton. That's the thing that's going to give it life. It's bringing people there. We've got a city to sea pathway, which is going to bring people all the way up to New Brighton with something to see.
Kelly, one of the criticisms that the political grouping that you're affiliated with is that local politics, or politics rather, shouldn't play a part in local government. For example, people's choice groups. You're obviously no doubt aware of that criticism. What do you say to people who say that there's too much politics at play in council?
Yeah, look, I think it's a distraction, really. At the end of the day, we're there for the best for the city and for our area. I want to see the coastal ward do well. And I think it's about getting that and getting those positive sort of decisions made in town. It's about winning friends. It's about making friends in town. You work with people, and I'll work with anybody. I listen to the debates online because I have another job as well. I try to understand what people are thinking and where they're coming from. And I understand that some people talk about that as being some kind of a big conspiracy. But at the end of the day, people vote for who they want. And, the voters actually decide who is going to make the play on their behalf. So really, when people say, like People's Choice or Labour are voting as a block or something like that, really what they're saying is that they disagree with those, with the ideas that those people are representing. And I think there's a lot of collusion around the table. People do work together on different issues. At the end of the day, it's always about what's best for the city. And to think that other people in these elections, particularly this by-election, have no affiliation with other parties is just ridiculous. There are members who are running who have very close affiliations with political entities. We declare ours, we put them up front and say, look, these are our sort of standards. This is what we believe in, and vote for us. At the end of the day, it's all there laid out for you. We just declare it. I just say who I am, and it's up to people to decide whether they want me to represent them or not. Win, lose, or draw.
Kelly, in your view, give me one big issue. What's one of the biggest issues you believe facing Christchurch City today, right now? Just one.
Well, I mean, there's a lot, and it's really hard to do that. The stadium is an issue, but the stadium is symptomatic of the issue. The major issue we face is we've got so much to do, and we don't really always have the money to do it. And we don't always have the money to do it the way we want to do it.
Okay, that's an interesting point you make, because that's one of the questions I was going to ask. There's been a lot of controversy over the stadium decision. Many people upset that they didn't get the 30,000 seating. What's your view on that?
Yeah, look, initially, and I watched the whole debate on this, I found it really quite fascinating. Some people made some really good points. I think they got to the decision that was probably best for the city at this time. I personally, as a sports lover, 30,000 sounded pretty good to me. 35 would have been fantastic as well. But realistically, we only would have filled it a couple of times a year, or maybe every couple of years max. I mean, we're going to get 36-odd thousand people in there for a concert. That's pretty reasonable. So I think the councillors were prudent. The majority went with that. It's a difficult one. I really did like the idea of 30,000, but I can see why they made that decision.
Kelly, what's your day job, by the way, for the people that are unaware of you? What do you do?
I do a lot of things, actually. I do a bit of property development. My main job, however, is I work for a healthcare company based out of Christchurch. It started here in Christchurch in 1922 and has become a massive entity. And before that, I worked in pharmaceuticals for big pharma, companies like Johnson & Johnson and GlaxoSmithKline. So my day job is dealing with people I go to work to solve problems, and I guess I want to switch that over to council and try and solve problems for the people of Christchurch.
Okay, only got 30 seconds left. Here's your pitch. I'm doing this with all the councillors, or all the candidates rather. Why should the people of the Coastal Ward vote for you? 30 seconds, go.
They should vote for me because I'm absolutely passionate about the area. I'm already invested in a role of leadership of the community, chairing the community board. I got that role because I'm really good with people. I care about people. I listen to them, and I want the best for our area. And my job will be to go to town and to get those things that we need in the east to make the place better than it is.
Kelly Barber, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, Chris, enjoyed it. Thanks a lot. Anytime.